these final tracks. The Haunted House Club gave the community something to scream about. November brought the new landing policy that Polynesians and staff have embraced. Polynesians enjoyed our very first hat track event with a taco truck and Konais. We had 745 students in the very first sticker, and that number has continued to increase. Stella, ASB, and Fred Portland families participated in the Gaming Christmas program. January. Thankfully, Hernandez is on the Scott Lane and Sanchez, all advanced to the next round of the science fair. Polynesians enjoyed their first dance of the year. February. Contract 2 ended with various bounce houses. Cadet Court attended the airsoft legislature competition with Jacob Ashbrook taking first place. Black football was undefeated. ASB hosted the Sweetheart Dance. March. Pi Day was celebrated by various Polynesians, Pi teachers, and administrators. Those Black football finished the season undefeated. April Parliament Live has been everywhere. AUC, Avid, and Web Crew attended their second STEM conference at Harvey Med College. Patrick 3 participants attended a block events. May. Polynesians enjoyed a day at the Gannon Community Pool. Eighth graders are counting down the final days when we move forward to an amazing promotion. Students who earn all program background stickers will attend a field trip to the Dock Zone in Paris on May 26th. In closing, thank you to the teachers who made it through the 2022 and 2023, who created an amazing relationships and memories with their Polynesians.
Next, representing Good evening, Board President distinguished members of the board, Superintendent Davis, and members of the band. I am Mr. Brisbane, a senior from the University of School and a proud member of the class of 2023. Now is the time to check the following news. Let's give a special shout out to all the senior and former students of the program for their hard work and deserved honors. We are so proud of them. And special congratulations are on their entry to Paddle School. It was named the student of the year last night at the Book Creek Park. PBIS success. PBIS pride awards mean improved academics and attendance. Students use their PBIS rewards to get for a school trip to North Grade Farm. And the PBIS store is officially open. Weekly pride tickets make snacks and prizes and bread. The eSports Club with Mr. Preventure has officially started. Special thank you to all those who made our new eSports computer lab possible. Sorry. After a year when the evening project comes to a close, we are looking forward to our leadership retreat in Paris this Friday. Post class of 2030 will be honored with a senior breakfast and cap decorating celebration in the bar on May 26th. Graduation will be at UHS Performing Arts Center May 31st, beginning at 4:30 p.m. Schools will have a school-wide farewell barbecue June 1st from 11:30 to 1 p.m. Graduating seniors complete a career readiness portfolio on attitude statements reflecting on the check and devices. The these were ranking which fellow classmates study, earning the diploma student. Our most recent graduate, Charlene Solis, wrote, I would like to be heard telling people to always have a good mindset, to always push themselves for what they want to achieve, and to always believe in themselves. Thank you to Charlene Solis and to all of our seniors for continuing to inspire each of us every day. Thank you for allowing me to share. Please enter.
This being members of the school board, superintendent, members of the cabinet, and members of the community. My vote, meeting student president of the office. To recap our past events, our girls softball team made it into CIF as a one. Unfortunately, they did not make the part of what would be great for anyone. The track team competed in finals and saw Nicholas to be a raise and moving away to our league champs. A handful of runners also made it to CIF as well. The women's baseball team has made it to the quarterfinals of CIF. Although they did not win, they still played great games. The orchestra and band have been student concerts and a remarkable night to say the least. They both played beautifully and captured the hearts of the audience. On Friday the 28th, we brought on our mental health awareness walk. It was a hit with all the students and staff. I know that they are all educated on mental health now. I would like to say thank you to the American Indian Club, Bar, and Native Child for putting on this event. After April June completed the event on May 2nd. This event was to celebrate the students in all areas who have completed the April requirements along with the seniors who are committed to colleges or military branches. It was a great event and all the students had fun. I believe this was a great incentive and that students in the future will strive to do better so that they may celebrate with us again. AP testing started on May 1st and ended on the 12th. Students are glad to have finished testing but are currently preparing for finals. The Riverside County Bar Association presented one of our very juniors, Joseph Velasquez, at the 2023 RCBA Good Citizenship Award. May 9th, Shawini and Alexis Minions were recognized by Halifax University as young high school athletes of the year. We are so proud of them both. In addition, Jonathan Scooter Harris was recognized on Thursday, May 11th at CBU as our Coach of the Year award for leading the 2008 and 2023. And leading the baseball team to the third final round in the CIF small school playoffs. Although they lost a tough game last Friday, we are so proud of the team this year that they persevered without having a single senior on the squad. The future is so bright for this team. Congratulations. From 2023 was Saturday, May 13th. It was located at the Desert Oils Golf Club Resort in Pontiac from 7 to 11. It was a great evening for all. Thank you to all of you for your support of this year's prom. We truly appreciate you. I know that all students, myself included, were very excited and had a great time. There will be memories to cherish for a lifetime. Moving forward to our upcoming events. This Friday, May 19th, we will be holding our very last pep rally. There will be a holiday, and we'll be saying goodbye to the seniors and hello to the upcoming seniors. This will be an emotional but fun-filled rally. I would like you all to come and celebrate our last rally. It will be a moment to remember. We will be holding the spirit to build our pep. The following days are Monday, we had sunny days, wear sunglasses. Tuesday, pool party, wear cool clothes. Wednesday, anything but a backpack day. Thursday, Generation Day. The seniors will dress up as their future self, and everyone else will dress up as their younger self. And on Friday, in the rally day, we will wear formal and wine gear. Next week is senior week. We'll also be holding a spirit week to say goodbye to the seniors as they do their final and check out on the 25th. The 25th is also senior work night from 6 to 8 p.m. Seniors will then start to prepare for graduation on 26th. On Saturday, May 27th, the regular parade will take place starting at Nicolette and go down San Antonio on a long Wednesday. Please come out to see your graduates in this parade. Graduation will also be on the 30th of May at Disneyland. Lastly, the graduation ceremony will be on June 1st from 6:30 to 8 p.m. The big day has finally come. I hope to see you all there in the class of 2023 graduates. Thank you for your time and we'll see you at the upcoming events. Sorry, I also like Good evening, President and Honorable distinguished members of the school board, superintendent Davis, members of the cabinet, and members of the community. My name is Coach Linda. I am the assistant student body president of High School, the home of the Broncos. I've been part of them unified school district since kindergarten. I'm very fortunate to have this opportunity to be a voice of our students. I would like to stand here and tell you my goals for next year. Moving forward in the 2023-2024 school year, my intentions are to implement the advanced of student involvement on our campus. Many of you sitting here this evening will have a role to play to be part of this change for the school. There are many ways to get students involved, but the biggest contributing factor is the excitement of students wanting to walk through our school gates in the morning, to be here at school and show up and make them feel included. For instance, our mental health walk that made up here still as though they're taken and seen seriously for those that are struggling. Our Indian American Club was coming up to fund event for our students while sharing part of their culture in their games. We had small parts of birdseed and grass dancing. This is one of the ways we brought our students together. As we continue on to next year, I would like to show the importance of being at school to continue to strengthen and widen Bronco Pride. With ideas from the students and incoming associate state body, we can continue to the upcoming school year with excitement and joy. Thank you all for your time. We have big challenges and great opportunities ahead. But with the help of others, I'm positive we will meet them and make next time the best year in Bronco history. And that's Good evening, we're on now, the student members of the woman, superintendent, Davis, and members of the I think being down is meeting in student school. I think when we have to think that it's not really and succeed in this opportunity. It's not true that I see now that I was I know that we think when I come, not when I went through the race. It's just people. And I'm going to say, to the sake of our experiences can buy your knowledge forever. Next, I would like to imagine and be talking to the company chairs. Now, not to they were continue to show them. You would only to make the strong and during the final topic, I will introduce you to our next year's school board and that's most needed. And we have the chamber bill. I really don't. I'm going to go work longer than the girls. And I think
distinguished members of the school board, students, members of the academy, and members of my community. My aim is to meditate when I'm looking forward to serving the academy and the school board members at the time of the year. My performance is great. Students are held back by the environment they can control and create opportunities for better life and we have support to fight the drug and strike like this. Thank you.
Okay, I have another reflection. We're going to take the time to write. Enjoy your time. And same conversation. Well, I say thank you for joining us on this adventure, for being on board. We completely appreciate your input. We learn a lot of things and we're very excited for you. Wish you luck and we are in the cycle from different CSC. It's an amazing school and one experience you'll have there. Thank you so much for giving your time. I think that this has been a lot for you as you continue to grow. I expect your things about you and excited to find out when your movies might be and all of that. So thank you so much for giving the time to us. Congratulations. Thank you, Tom, and being always from students at HS, and congratulations. Thank you for all the input and hard work of the student body. For their and your big shoes to fill. Great things from you. I also expect you to come in and see what you do your community and show your broad spirit from knowledge. And recommendations.
We've been saying this a few things. First of all, I'm going to first board meeting, and I'm going to comments. I'm going to read them. And we talked about it really very briefly, and you did something that is pretty remarkable. You were able to shift that quickly, put that in your own words and stop. And so that is a skill that you have now, which you're going to develop and get stronger with. Next, every time I see you, or campus or whatever, your attitude, your energy is so positive, it's infectious. So we want to thank you for your contribution to the world this year, everything you do, and we wish you the best love as a coach. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. First one is
Right. Even the last couple of years, you're currently with the sea marina. Let's say it's sort of stop me if you heard it. 2 years ago, in a series of retaliatory actions, our chief union steward and current chapter president, Jennifer Toronto, was placed on what can only be described as an isolation order or house arrest. We moved from the personnel department of retaliation, and this is very illegal. When we filed suit, there's been a 2-year court case in the Public Internal Relations Board that you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on, and you lost. I have a court decision right here away, and I'm actually reviewing because the district has, I believe, about 17 days remaining to appeal. And the district and Mr. Davis with the council may in fact appealing this decision and sending tens of thousands of dollars in more students' money to file a case
where there's no police. It's not even open for the student. The district took this space to the borough and lost on each and every town because they have no police. That was just. They're coming. All their trophies, that's already been said. Ruining the relationship with us on the good with the contract and now it's signed on July 1, 2023, shut off. And by looks on their faces, you don't have to have either. This is going on for 2 years. And then we lost the third case, and it's going to be integrated. And so there's retaliation or interference case, I couldn't believe how we can find in the third. It was that bad. And she probably impacted. And you don't have to go the ceremony. Sections. Not only that, and I'm going to give direction to Superintendent Davis to settle this case while I can. And don't spend more money on it. You should be and you should try to reconcile this behavior, particularly under the former superintendent, who was really the majority of the problem. However, while Superintendent Davis was here, he actually engaged in behavior, and 6 unfair legal practices were filed. With 6 complaints that the Public Relations Board following the assistant superintendent, where you face training to ensure that your administrator is not violating the law when it comes to our rights in the law. And you while I'm with him, this needs to stop. 3 years. And the board is essentially unaware of what happened to us as part-time employees here and what they did to our town president. Here's the board decision. I left my number, please read it. And you should be embarrassed that this happened in this district. 20 years later, they've never seen me in this side. We don't need much after presidents or chief meeting stewards. Thank you for your time.
For the card, we have for Jonathan Strong. Do you want to do that tonight?
Yes, I have 2 there for those sessions.
Okay, so do you want to do 2 for close? Okay, and what are the other 2?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Swan. And I come to where it's a simple, and I'm going to read the violence and awareness of what saying who they are. One thing we're going to find out, but speaking a couple of times tonight, is that people we have to speak on the retaliation and the person decided not to sign for this year. So I'm concerned. I don't think concerned. I don't know what I've seen. I don't know. I know it's not. It's very John. But if it happened, I would thank you. With everyone, when you concern with things, when you don't have a letter to the I have no administrative And we're
Item 3, open session. We are back in closed session. The time is 8 o'clock. Clerk Troutman, please take roll. President Angiano, present. Trustee Martinez Lara, present. Trustee Novales, present. Trustee Ruiz, present. And I, Clerk Troutman, am present. Please let the record reflect that we perform. Item 3.1, report from closed session. Clerk Troutman, please share. Item 2.1, in closed session, the board discussed the evaluation process with the superintendent. Item 2.5, in closed session, the board received information and took action on the following. In closed session, the Board of Education approved the appointment of Margarita Ramirez for elementary school principal. Motion was made by myself, Clerk Troutman, seconded by Trustee Ruiz, and carried on a 4-1 vote. Congratulations. Sorry. Item 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4, we will be returning to closed session to discuss after open session.
Good evening, President Aguiano, Clerk Troutman, distinguished board members, Superintendent Davis. It is my distinct pleasure on behalf of the Banning Unified School District Board of Trustees and Superintendent Davis, we are excited to announce Margarita Ramirez as the principal of Hopper Elementary School. Mrs. Ramirez brings more than 15 years of experience in the field of education. She began her career as an instructional assistant in 2008, and then became a specialized academic instructor in 2012. Mrs. Ramirez started her administrative career in 2018 as an assistant principal for the Beaumont Unified School District. Currently, Mrs. Ramirez is the principal for Morongo Unified School District. Mrs. Ramirez earned a bachelor's in human services and management from the University of Phoenix and a master's degree in special education from the Azusa Pacific University. Please join us in welcoming Margarita Ramirez to the Banning Unified School District.
Good evening, Board President, members of the board, Superintendent Davis, and members of cabinet. Thank you so much. I find this to be an amazing honor, and I hope to serve the district and the community with the utmost everything that I have. I'm going to give it all to our students and to our community. Thank you.
Great. Welcome. Item 3.2, opportunity for community comment. And we have received community comment. Thank you. Individuals who wish to address the board on matters which affect the district and its programs are requested to complete a request to address the Board of Education card and submit it to the administrative assistant. Speakers are asked to limit comments to 3 minutes. While the board welcomes input from the community, they will not respond or take action during public comments. The board may decide to refer matters to the district staff or to take under advisement for a future meeting. All speakers are reminded to be respectful and courteous. Our first two are from Ms. Jennifer Serrano.
Good evening, board. Jennifer Serrano. Once again, like I said, you're going to be hearing the recurring message about people being afraid of being bullied and retaliated against. And when I welcomed the board on when you first got installed, and I read you a poem about having to do the hard things, even though it may not, make you look good in front of everybody, you have to do the hard things because they're right. This first letter is a collective letter from a large group of employees, and it's kind of long. I would ask that you would just let me finish before you cut me off on my 3 minutes. We classify employees' lives matter. Enough is enough. There is a lot of bullying and harassment coming from administration and directors. The tactics being used are similar to those tactics used by dictators. The Nutrition Services Director has created a very hostile working environment filled with emotional distress of having to come to work on a daily basis, creating constant anxiety stemming from all the verbal harassment of being talked down to, the degrading language used, and the remarks that are said. Example. Well, you don't know what to do because the said person is not here. Get your facts straight before talking to me. You need to talk to me directly if you want to do it. I will come down there every day to talk to you if I have to. If you do this, you might get more recognition. Oh, this is my favorite. Oh, this is the busiest I have ever seen your kitchen. It's like when all the Mexican women get together and make tamales. These are just a few of the statements made from the director. Communicating nicely through emails, but then turns around and makes a phone call to you to verbally degrade you because he knows there is no record of it. Constantly asks you to do tasks and then criticizes your work, ability, and asks why you did it. When we, the employee, is out of work, he texts, calls, and asks us when we are coming back to work, even if you have turned in a doctor's note and are off for a set period of time. Director and admins talking down to staff and not taking the work environment complaints seriously. We have complained of it being hot in the kitchens and that do not have central air, and it gets hot in the summer months with all the lights, ovens, and other equipment on. It becomes a sweatshop. We are still using swamp coolers in some kitchens. Even during COVID, they were deemed non-compliant due to housing the virus and circulating it back into the workplace. Even before COVID, the old director of MOT, Mr. Cornell, had stated the swamp coolers were no longer allowed in the schools due to harboring bacteria. Even after Keenan put out a mandatory training video about heat exhaustion inside the workplace and not outdoors, we were given a temporary solution. The directors and admin solution was to bring in temporary cooling units to get us by, only to discover that when the health inspector came for one of their yearly inspections, the units were not health department compliant and had to be removed. Since then, no other effort has been made to correct the situation with a permanent solution, and warm weather is just around the corner. The district offices have gotten new AC units, painted walls, new carpet, and new furniture. Why should their comfort be more important than those that are working for the students to make sure that they have a healthy meal? This air controversy is nothing new. MOT director knows it's a swamp cooler cooling the kitchens and that they are illegal to use. That should have been a priority when Mr. Page was hired. But wait, they are quickly redoing the turf on the football field for the athletes. Does that mean football has a priority over the students who want to have a meal served? The new administration and directors are picking and choosing what makes them look better, not what is needed in the district.
The kids' safety, if, is of little concern and the employees are zero concern. There is an ongoing issue at VHS with odors coming through the vents and making staff ill, still making students ill. Some have even had their parents called to come pick them up after falling ill to the odors. Things are being swept under the rug. We want to work in a safe environment where we can do our jobs without having to constantly worry about our health. If us coming to work isn't going to cause us to end up with permanent health issues or cancer down the line from breathing the unknown chemicals, this has become a stressful, hostile work environment where you not only have to worry about your health, but the retaliation that is happening because we are worried about it. There is a constant lie of dates and tests with a hired company that is a longtime friend of Kenneth Page that was hired to do the testing. Mr. Page himself introduced the company rep as his longtime friend. He was known for many years and we should have nothing to worry about. Red flag warning. There is no transparency in the situation, even when unknown men enter the job site. And when asked who they are, they refuse to acknowledge the question, then continue walking about as if they are not daily kitchen activities going on. Then when asked again, as they are leaving, who they are, the rude response, I work for the district and the other states I live MNO. Flash the brown wallet looking item and then exits the building. Why is this district allowing this? Where are the safety measures? Is it because the director of nutrition, director of transportation, and director of MNO are all good friends from their last school district, Moreno Valley Unified? There are more assistant positions created with this administration than ever needed. We are very top-heavy, paid administrators in the district, with the employees being paid pennies and understaffed. When we have asked for a pay increase, we're always told that we are a small district and don't have the money. The irony of it all, the latest position of in laminate terms, PR director, who sends out an email for everybody to tag on the school district on any social media platform in any matters of the district. Isn't that her job to search and create and know this on her own and not have everyone else to do her job for her? Also, wasn't there already someone in the district that was doing those said jobs? We are spending money on positions that we as a district have never needed. Put the money back into the employees and the students, their schools, to the repairs that are needed, but cannot be repaired because the district cannot pay for bills for the supplies. District admins and directors have used threats against employees while they boast about how they will handle employees with their nickname titles. Mr. Herrera, the pit bull, Mr. Davis, the shot caller, Mrs. Cosbywood, the smoother. And who knows what other names they have given themselves. This is a school district, not a mom-owned city. They are watching employees on cameras when the cameras are for student safety, not for monitoring staff. This administration even went as far as giving themselves awards, even though they were not qualified for them. The requirements are in a position in the current district for 5 years, manipulating the requirements to benefit themselves, since not one of them has held a position for that amount of time. There are so many positions that are empty and not enough employees. We are being asked to take on extra work that is not in our contracts because there is no subs. Maybe if the pay for the classified positions were comparable to other places, we would be able to fill these positions. We are going to end up a district with no classified employees if this type of mob mentality admin directors continue being used to run the school district. Enough is enough. We are not going to allow this type of treatment anymore. Letter 2. And you'll notice they're all anonymous. Dear board members, Banning Unified School District classified and its certificated education leaders are under acts of intimidation and constant threats. CSCA is asking for immediate assistance to deal with the growing number of occurring intimidation and threats across the district and termination for positions within every department in the district. We are asking the school board members to look into members of the union who this administration is targeting, followed by employees who say that work for the district as employees. These individuals are following district employees, watching employees on camera of their entering and exiting buildings. Banning is a great place. I am writing to you as a concerned classified worker requesting for this board to evaluate and implement a protocol to be put in place when employees are nervous. All employees have the right to know that their health is in danger. I am concerned for my health, the students' health, and the staff and families we have to come home to every night. This plan should have the basic requirements to protect the public health of all departments. This union has some critical issues that this school board must address. It is not clear about the governance of the district. Free speech is frowned upon. Conflicts are apparent with the district office. However, no safeguards are in place to protect banning public school workers dedicated to serving our students and supporting our education leaders as they do their jobs. CSEA believes immediate assistance is required to protect our students and staff on the school board, as members must know that both educators and classified workers are susceptible to acts of termination and threats. These acts are affecting district employees personally, as our employees continue coronavirus recovery within our respective departments. They also persevere against other challenges that would impede the progress of supporting students within the district. Senior management, the policymakers' primary focus should be to protect the health and safety of students and school employees. Many school staffs face threats because of propaganda purporting the false inclusion of gossip within the district. This propaganda continues throughout, all through CSEA employees continue to perform duties as required. This leadership works by fear and intimidation in our school district, including threats to those who work within the Banyan Unified School District. In addition, we applaud your action to restore resources to school district departments and a safe environment supporting staff. Human resources is just that, to assist staff with programs in place and to reduce stress in the workplace. Not to be used as a tool against employees working within the district. Employees are asking for this board to take extraordinary measures and perform an investigation to ensure the safety of our students and classified staff and certificated educators, to protect our rights under this administration, to preserve a stress-free workplace under this administration, to be proactive in the investigation of this administration concerning threatened letters and intimidations and bullying attacks that may be going on for some time. We ask the board to discuss how employees are treated in different departments. We, the employee, appreciate the hard work and dedication of our school board members and staff, and look forward to hearing more about how our district plans to incorporate innovative teaching practices that will benefit our staff and assist with programs to reduce stress in the workplace, and look forward to hearing the board's response. Thank you for your attention in this matter.
Is from Ms. Lynette Osorio.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lynette Osorio. I work alongside Banyan USD at Hemmerling Elementary for 9 school years now. I applied for this job because I love kids and I wanted to work somewhere I can invest myself into. I was hired a little over a year after the horrific Sandy Hook massacre. The day I was hired, I had to have a real conversation with my mom about the unimaginable. I told my mom that there was no way that I would ever let someone come onto our campus without doing everything in my power to stop them. I remember telling her that I was born a protector and I would lay down my life before I would ever let someone hurt our kids. I was committed to caring for our kids from day one, and that hasn't changed. I'm here today to seek help and support for our children, parents, staff, and district as a whole. Every one of us has needs, and we need help in some additional type of support, We need each other, but we also need additional resources. Our kids need more mental health and behavioral support from the effects of COVID. Our parents need classes and access to trainings to help them to support their children at home. The staff need more help in many of our departments and sites. We need additional staff for the supervision and safety of our students. There are deficiencies within our district and in our schools nationwide that we can't ignore anymore. I've had many coworkers say that they were overwhelmed, stressed out, and being stretched too thin, and they don't know how much longer they can do this. I have also struggled with those thoughts and feelings myself. This district and the staff, from the staff and the students to their parents, are my second family. As a protector, I want to protect us. I don't want to see us divided or split as a family, so that's why I'm here. The conversation is not easy or comfortable, as you can see, but it's necessary. I'm here because I'm worried about our future. Right now, we can't get our vacant positions filled or have enough subs to cover the positions when an employee is out. I worry that we will lose a dedicated and hardworking staff we have now if we don't. If we don't get the help and support we need, we can't afford to lose any of the valuable staff we have. Not only because they're tremendous, they have a tremendous value, but because these positions are getting harder and harder to fill. Between the increased responsibilities, fewer staff, volume, and intensified behavioral issues students are experiencing, and the salary in comparison to minimum wage, and the all too real threat of school shootings, the appeal of working at a school has been greatly damaged and diminished. As someone that is willing to lay down their life, what is that worth to you guys? What is my value worth? We all have value and we all want to feel valued. I'm not better than anyone here in any way. I'm flawed just like you are. I make mistakes too. When I make mistakes, I own them and take responsibility for them. I do my best to learn and grow from my mistakes. I try to set a good example, but I'm not perfect in any way. It's been said recently that we, meaning the staff at the schools, are in a similar position to the police. We are expected to protect and serve, but we don't get the support or appreciation we deserve for them. With that being said, thank you to all the police who protect and serve us this National Police Month. You are heroes and we need you, just like these kids need us. Imagine what a gift we could give these kids if we all came together to help support, value, and appreciate one another. This year's motto for the district is "The time is now," and literally the time is now. To put our strengths and efforts together to build up, raise up, lift up, and grow our kids up to be all they can be. Our kids are only going to have what we are willing to give and pour into them. Please help us get the support and staff we need to provide the brightest future possible for these students in this dark world. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Item 3.3, BTA comments. I would like to welcome BTA President, Mr. Anthony Garcia.
Hi, good evening. Real quick, first of all, I just want to welcome Margaret Edwards to Banning Unified School District. Second of all, I just want to thank, congratulate all of our retirees that have come out this year, both classified and certificated, and thank them for their many years of service to our district. And last, we have 2 days of negotiation next week, Thursday and Friday, and I'm hoping that we can get a deal done and be done before the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3.4, CSDA comments. I would like to welcome CSDA President, Ms. Jennifer Serrano.
Good evening again. Jennifer Serrano, President of Proud Banning CSD 147. As I mentioned, those were not my words, those were words from my members. And I spoke to you about being an elected official, having to be put out there and be responsible for a group. It's really hard. Knowing their struggles, it's hard for me because I can only do so much when it's up to you guys. And when I see them struggle, being sick, can't go to work, it plays on my emotion. I've had this conversation with Johnny about the way people speak to each other. It doesn't take 2 seconds to be kind, to say something to somebody kindly. Come in, let's have a conversation. Today, I had a conversation. Somebody had called me because they were being harassed at work. We have 2 M&O people, new, one just barely started. This is the second incident of him bullying somebody on the workplace. If somebody is sick and they're out sick and they've already told you they're sick, they don't need you following them around campus asking why they were out. They've already told you. It's things like this that makes people not want to come to work. The bullying on the board agenda, there's a, to get a new camera system. Is that to continue to watch employees? Is it gonna now have sound? We've been told that the cameras are being used to watch people coming and going, and everybody is terrified. If you notice, a lot of people did not attend the benefits fair because they were told they had to go on their break and they only get 30 minutes. Nobody wanted to risk being late and not getting to go. So I don't think a lot of people went to the benefits fair. That's what we're dealing with. It's really hard out here and something has to change. I know we just did a book study, Deep Kindness. I don't know if the message hit home because I'm not seeing any kindness going on. As far as the BHS kitchen, I think it needs to be said. That air quality is really bad. They're very sick in there. And we're continuing to serve students out of there. I'm sure it's contaminating the food, and I don't know when parents are gonna wake up and say, hey, I wanna know what you're feeding my kids. That 7-day-old chicken that somebody might lose their job for. We're looking out for the kids, and now our job is on the line. This is not the way we should have to work at all, or our kids should have to go to school. I ask you just to be mindful when you're making these decisions and when you're talking to people. Kindness, smile, and be kind. Thank you.
Item 4.1, superintendent comment.
Good evening, Madam President, for members of the board, our community. So, I want to first of all thank you for attending tonight's meeting, and I'll start with this. Quite a few things just to kind of share. I want to thank everyone who spoke tonight for their heartfelt words. You spoke from your heart. You spoke from what you know. And no one can take that away from you. So our job is to listen to that. It's to work with the board, work with our staff, to ensure that we're displaying that. That book study that you talked about, Jennifer, there was roughly about 20 people roughly that were pretty consistent. And that book study turned into basically a, what did I call it? A therapy. And really what the book talks about is how are you kind to yourself first? And then how do you display that to others? Because that's the key. And as we all know, Mr. Surrey, are you still here? Did I say that right, Mr. Surrey? It is challenging. The work is challenging. Living in the world today is challenging. People show up, they give everything they have, and they're faced with a lot of challenges. I'm aware of that, you're aware of that. But it's up to us to connect, share those thoughts and ideas and how we move. So again, thank you for your heartfelt words this evening. It does not go unnoticed. It does not go unknown. Next, on a much lighter note, I would like to welcome our new ASB students. We look forward to working with you as well as our new student board representative. Just a couple of comments. There's a lot of things going on at the end of the year. It's one of the busiest times, as well as the beginning of the year. But I want to congratulate our softball, our baseball, and some of our track and field students for making it to the CIFs. You can give them a round of applause. To be at the first playoff game for the high school students, and just the energy and just what they went through and felt just winning that game and then making it to the quarterfinal. We're really proud of it. Next, Joseph Velasquez. He is a junior and he was awarded the 2023 Riverside County Bar Good Citizen. There's a picture of him in the paper. He looks good. He's tall. He looks like he's going to be an attorney. So I'm just really proud of our students and their work in being identified. Next is, let's talk about the press. Positive press. Banning has not received a lot of positive press over the years. Definitely not in some of the local headlines. So in today's world, on our platforms, we have to make our own press. And we make our press not based upon things that we're creating, but things that are happening, things that have been happening. So I'm really proud of the work that Ms. Lynette White has started to do to come in and show and highlight and showcase the great things that are happening in our district. Because there's way many great things happening that people don't see. So thank you for that work. As we move into our, well, we're already there. We're in May, in May, recognitions and retirement celebrations. So that is tomorrow. I believe we have 5 retirees and our employees who are going to be recognized for their work. And just as a side note, those district recommendations or recognitions are done by all staff. That is an all staff thing. That is not a district office thing. That is to say, hey, who do the staff recognize for their work for this year? And so we try to do a really good job of that, or let's say a better job of that. All those people who were recognized last year, they're up in the district office, their faces is there because we're proud of them. When people come to our district, we want them to see those faces and celebrate in their accomplishments. The other thing that's happening right now, almost every night, every day, is student awards. Last night, Student of the Year. There will be senior awards coming up. And so we're really proud of our senior group that's going to be moving on to our graduation on the 1st of June. So we're very happy about that. Finally, a few other notes is our district theme. There was an email that was sent out for the district theme, and that was done because I wanted the input of our over 500 employees. Now, the survey didn't turn out that well. However, we took the top 3 or 4 sayings and then resent it out. And so our theme for next year by at least 40%. And I'll say this before I say the theme of the year is, I always know when a theme is going well because I hear it all of the time. And I don't know how many times I've heard tonight from students, from staff, that the time is now. And you're right, Ms. Osorio, the time is now to live up, to build up, to do all those things. And I think we're in that space. That doesn't mean everything is perfect. That doesn't mean that everything is going to be perfect, but that's the just. That's how we prepare forward. So our theme next year will be based upon what the employees wanted, is it starts with me. It starting with me doesn't mean that it's your job to do it. It means that it's my job. What can I do to make things better? So I'm really excited about that. And we are going to be working with Surround on how we treat each other next year. That's what our keynote is going to be about. That's what our engagement is going to be about, how we treat each other. Because that's critical. Finally, I just want to share something that happened at the last board meeting. At the last board meeting, Ms. Martinez Lau participated in closed session. She was not here physically for open session. She was online. She was on Zoom. However, what we found out as we started to go through the meeting is that she did not have, she was able to see what was going on. She was able to hear what was going on, but she was not able to respond. And so when she was trying to respond during the system, it didn't go through. And so that created, I'll use the word lightly, anxiety, concern from Ms. Martinez Lotto because she cares about the community. She cares about her students and she wants to make sure her voice is heard. So I just wanted to share that with the community. That was not even an intent by anyone in this room. That was just a condition that we need to address. And as you all know, we don't always meet in this room. Sometimes we're at the city chambers where it has really good audio visuals. That's something that we need to work on. So those are the things that I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Item 5, consent calendar. The regular
The recommendation is to approve the calendar agenda items 5.2 and 5.3 as provided. All matters listed under the consent calendar agenda are considered to be routine and enacted by one motion vote. There is no separate discussion of the items prior to the time the Board of Education considers the motion, unless a member of the board or administrative staff requests that specific items be discussed and or removed.
Do we have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar agenda as provided?
I'll second.
I have a motion from Ms. Martinez Laura and a second from Ms. Novales. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 6.1, District and Community Relations Presentation. I would like to invite Ms. White to the podium for her presentation. At this time, hearing that there are no comments, I declare the public hearing is now closed. That time is 9:19 p.m. Item 8.7, Human Resources, adopt the sunshine proposals for Banning Unified School District of California School Employee Association.
This item is for the board to adopt the sunshine proposals for California School Employee Association, Chapter 147, for the 2023-25 successor agreement with Banning Unified School District.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 8.7? Any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, I have a motion for Ms. Comment and a second from Ms. Royce to approve item 8.7. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.1, Business Services Surveillance Camera Systems to improve safety.
This item is for the board to approve utilization of California Multiple Award Schedule, contract number 3-17-84-0052B, and enter into a contract with Blue Violet Networks Corporation for replacement of surveillance camera systems district-wide.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 9.1?
I move to open and discuss.
Any discussion or questions?
Yes, actually, I know CSEA had mentioned the purpose of these cameras, and I do want to clarify, this is solely for safety of students and staff and anyone on campus. It has never been brought up for surveillance of staff, what they're doing, where they're going, anything like that. It has solely been about safety for our staff, our students, and I can't emphasize that enough. So I just want to make that very clear, it is for safety.
Thank you. I want to reiterate that as well, and I'm very grateful that we finally have an item forward where we can prepare cameras that have been down for a long time and have affected our students and our staff safety, but also the opportunity to be able to add additional in the software to make it even better and safer.
I have been in contact with Dr. Thomas and Nicolette, and we've been discussing this for a while because there have been some cameras that have been down, and this kind of made it, this got the motion rolling because everyone's talking about the fact that Nicolette, myself included, I'm very aware of the issue, and we feel like if we can replace and upgrade these cameras, we can hopefully put a stop to the fighting, or at least decrease it at the least. So I'm very happy that we're doing this for the safety of our students, and I'm only sorry we can do it sooner.
I have questions, Mr. Herrera, if possible. I'm also very happy that we're doing this. I'm looking forward to having safer campuses and working hard on this. My proposal, is this the only proposal that we have? Is this the only company? Have we taken other proposals?
Absolutely. So the vetting process for the camera infrastructure projects were extensive and extensive research by Mr. Sherwood and myself. We did look at different platforms, did look at cost managers in terms of the implementation and also the window in which implementing would then make sense for our district for the current infrastructure. So what this here offers is the ability to use our current camera systems, including equipment to then have a cloud-based and then do an implementation of an open software that would allow us to then add any other equipment in the near future. Maybe Mr. Sherwood can provide some more details as to some of the extensive research he did with various other contractors.
No, I was just curious. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? No? Okay. I have a motion from Ms. Bruce and second from Ms. Troutman to approve item 9.1. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 2, business services, disposition of district assets.
This item is to approve disposition listings of district assets.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 9.1? Oh, 9.2. In a second. Thank you. Any questions or discussion? Okay, motion from Ms. Novales and a second from Ms. Martinez Lara to approve item 9.2. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.3, business services, Hemet USD piggyback bid.
This item is for the board to approve the Hemet USD piggyback bid number 061749 for purchase of student transportation buses.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 9.3? Okay, any discussion or question?
I asked my questions in email prior to. Will we inform of this answers? Yes.
No, I guess my only question on this is, are we piggybacking on, I know that before there was an issue of us paying too much for the bus service. Is this bus service or is this just buses? Buses.
That is it.
So we're talking about the process.
Absolutely. And so this is not for services, this is for the purchase of 4 new bus transportation vehicles. The piggyback method here through the public contract code allows us to pretty much not do the work of what other districts have done and benefit from this cost savings of their bid. And so in this case, the district is utilizing Hemet Unified School District's bid as a piggyback, and there's also another piggyback from a different public agency in a following item.
Right, I saw that with advance.
Correct.
Yes, I don't have any questions on that.
Okay, any other questions? No. I have a motion from Ms. Troutman and a second from Ms. Novales to approve item 9.3. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 4, business services, South County supported services JPA piggyback bid.
This item is for the board to approve the South County Supportive Services JPA piggyback bid number 2122-SC11-01 for purchase of student transportation vans.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 9.4? Any discussion or questions? No? Okay. I have a motion from Ms. Troutman and a second from Ms. Martinez Lara to approve item 9.4. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.5, business services, number 21-22-06, asphalt phase 3 proposals.
This item is for the board to approve asphalt bid phase 3 proposals.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 9.5? Any questions or discussion? I do have a question on the bid date. What is from 2021? Is this one that we're backtracking and catching up again with last board meeting? Or did I misread it?
Got it. Second. This is a bid that was conducted in 2021. The bid end date is June 30th of 2023. This particular phase 3 recommendation is to secure the per square footage pricing that was bid on back in 21. And even though the work may not be completed by the 30th, as long as we have all the procurement documents in place, the pricing will be honored.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Okay. I have a motion from Ms. Novales and a second from Ms. Martinez Lara to approve item 9.5. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. 9.6, business services contractual agreements.
This item is for the board to approve and or ratify contractual agreements as provided.
It's okay. Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 9.6? Any questions or discussions?
I do have a question. It's more of a comment. I noticed that professional services were provided for the prom. I think that's fabulous. I know that the students had a great time, but I also know that this is on the board, it's on the calendar. So I'm wondering why this is an after the fact.
Yes, so the district office team has been actively engaged with the high school, also middle school, and the alternative ed program to ensure that the procurement processes are followed for all activities, including ASD. And so this here is a ratify for the services for prom, where we're working through some details of insurance with Proms AV. We were able to successfully ensure that both the vendor, contractor, and the district were insured and move forward, which is one of the reasons why there's that delay in getting this through the board approval process.
Okay, is it possible next year to start that process earlier so that it comes to the board before the dance is over?
Absolutely, and we're working with school site ASBs to align the practices as they are followed at the district office, given that ASB is an extension of the district. And so absolutely for next year, we'll be actively working with all of the ASBs to ensure that the procurement processes are one, timely, and two, followed as we do here at the district office.
Mr. Rivera, this is just for the contract piece of it, right? Because I asked Ms. Ramos earlier and she clarified that they paid. This is not for like a reimbursement. This is not to give them funds. They paid for everything. This is just basically so that the paperwork is in order.
Absolutely correct. The funding source for this particular line item is the Bangor High School's Social Civic Body funds. Yes.
And I just had a quick question, Mr. Davis, was this the item that I had a question regarding the software, is that a different system? I think you wrote the wrong item number on my notes. So this is,
After G. It's the bottom one after G.
is that the one where we have the questions
yes,
about?
yes.
Okay, so I know there were questions and we got email responses and there was a link where it had an Excel sheet and it showed the different programs. It was different, I guess. But it's not this item.
No, this is the website.
Okay, I apologize. I'll ask that again later. Okay, any other questions?
I do have a question. I had brought forth school blogs, Mr. Davis, before, and I was told that you would look into it, and it's my understanding that you did not look into that, and that you chose to do this, and this is 3 times the expense. Could you kind of amplify that, because I know that people are talking about being fiscally responsible. I'm not saying you're not, please don't misunderstand, I'm just saying that I know there's a concern about us, making sure that we are doing that, and I'm just kind of curious. I'd like to know, your expertise and your reasoning for choosing Apogee as opposed to school blocks, when it works in unison with the parent portals that we have right now, and Edleo, and it's about a third of the cost, and this is 5% more next year. We're looking at $62,000 this year. So can you please just give us a little insight?
So after the conversation, this is roughly 2 to 3 months ago, about school blocks, we met as an executive team with school blocks, did a presentation for us. And at that time, it was determined that that did not meet the needs, and if we recall, that was specifically about a position. We were talking about the communications position versus school blocks. And they're completely two different things. That's what we determined, we found out. Furthermore, moving forward and looking at all of the alternatives for websites, we've talked about the communication, we've talked about dead links, we've talked about just what our current status is. So we looked at several vendors, several solutions, if you will. So there are app solutions and there are website solutions. And so as we know, we do have some challenges with our current solution, which is Elio. Apogee, however, provides a few things in one. So as an example, right now we're paying for Parent Square, and we pay roughly an ongoing cost of about $21,000 a year for Parent Square. And right now we're paying about $8,000 a year in Elliott. So those are two separate solutions that we're using in order to communicate with parents, as well as to have a website for people to go to. What Apogee does is combine those. So it is actually everything that is on the website is also on an app. Furthermore, it pushes out information. So one of the things that is a challenge, and I think President Aguiano, we discuss this all the time, about how if you're not on social media, if you're not on the platforms, because you're not in that world, you don't see what's happening. So that's why Parent Square pushes that out. Apogee actually has that app component that pushes that out to parents who enroll in. So what this does is it replaces Parent Square and replaces LEO in one app, and the cost is
$62,000.
So part of that is the startup fees, and the other part is the ongoing fees for LEO is $36,000, which we've been, $39,000 on a year-to-year basis, and right now we're paying about $36,000 with both of those platforms. And it provides a robust way to communicate to parents, staff, through our website, and push out on your phone.
Thank you. And the other question I have for you is this going to connect with our new security systems that we're putting in place?
So we didn't have Mr. Sherwood on the phone. They have a lot of different features, and so I know Mr. Sherwood is working with our Zero, and I don't know if something else in terms of how we push out information in an emergency crisis. We can do that through Apogee. And so what we'll have to determine is what is going to be the best source once we get our Zero up and running in that app. So is it, we're going to use that app, or does this supersede that so that way we're using one platform, and that is the goal, one platform.
Thank you for doing all this research and making sure that we have the specification for everything.
And I know this is a board priority and something we've been working on.
Yes. Thank you.
Any other question? No? I have a motion from Ms. Trotman and a second from Ms. Morales to approve item 9.6. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.7, business services, fiscal services, annual resolutions.
This item is for the board to approve resolution number 23-022, temporary transfer of funds from various district funds. Resolution number 23-023, year-end budget adjustments and year-end budget adjustments, and resolution 23-024, authority to process routine budget revisions for fiscal year 2023-24 as provided.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 9.7?
I move to open and discuss.
Any discussion or question? Yeah, go for it.
Can you just explain the process? Are we going to, or is the process still going to be the same that we approve items? Or is this just a blanket check?
This is an annual process to approve resolutions in order to support some of the fiscal operations. For example, the first one here, resolution 23022, is for income tax borrowing should a fund be deficient of cash. Given that the reimbursement process does take time to receive the cash, for example, funding out in adult education, there's a process of filing reports. Usually there's a small cash deficiency that's supported by the general fund, then we pay it back. Very typical and in terms of just fiscal operations and part of the annual budget process. The next one here is for year-end budget adjustments as we're nearing the year-end, closing the books, and our plan becomes a reality, and there's some shifts around in terms of some of the funding sources and balance on resources. And this is to move forward with that process and bring forward to the board the audited actuals will be presented in September. And then the last item here is for the budget revisions as part of the new fiscal year. And so part of the board approval is bringing forth a budget in June, bringing forth a first interim in December, second interim in March. So by way of those approvals is then given authority for some budget transfers. This will be, for example, if mid-year there's an additional resource like we've been receiving as of late, to go ahead and recognize the revenues and make those budget adjustments without having to go through the entire cycle again.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I have a motion for Ms. Ruiz and a second for Ms. Lavales to approve item 9.7. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.8, business services, monthly fiscal services reports.
These items for the board to approve monthly fiscal services reports, bank reconciliations, purchase orders, warranty summary, and commercial warrant registers.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 9.8? Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. I have a motion for Ms. Troutman and a second for Ms. Martinez-Flora to approve item 9.8. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 10.1, governance training update.
So we're going to share this mic for this one, I think, this time. So just a few things to report. The board still needs to schedule our engagement with Brown Act training, which is really fun that will happen in the summer. So we'll get that scheduled on the calendar. We started reviewing the bylaws. The bylaws are the board's way they govern and process. And so we started that a couple weeks ago, and we have a lot of work to do. It may take a while to get that done, but we're going to keep progressing and move forward. Ms. Lavales, myself, Ms. Martinez-Flora, and Ms. Wilson. Yes. Okay.
Is, Mr. Hughes, one of the recommendations from the CSP said that it would be good for all of us to sit in on that and to weigh in on that. Is there any time this summer where you all have some time to work on that?
Well, I think it would be up to everybody to decide. But I do know that when we started this committee years ago, we had specific board members that wanted to participate in it, and then if there were any bylaws that required updating or changes, then it would be brought up forward during the board meeting so we can all discuss and approve any changes. Unless you ladies want to change that process, it's up to you.
That's what I was asking, if you guys wanted to without the rest of the governance as opposed to just the bylaws?
Well, I personally don't know if I have the ability for the summer. I'm happy with being forward.
Because there's so many committees that we split the board basically, so everyone will get a piece of the pie. And, you know, time is limited.
Well, just, as we talked, I just wanted to ask.
No, that's appreciated. But if everyone's okay with just bringing forward any bylaws and any updating or changes during the board meetings, we can discuss if everyone's still okay with that process. But I do appreciate your insight, especially since, everything's really fresh and going through CSA things and the governance. Thank you.
So moving on to Masters in Governance, we have one of our board members who has completed her Masters in Governance, so she is now a Master in School Governance. That's Ms. Martinez Lara, so good job. Yes. And we have Ms. Morales, who has started and embarked upon that process. So are you all going into session 2?
I finished. I did session 1, 3 weeks ago, so I did session 2, which is basically a 3-day process in online, and I did that last week. Next week I do session 3, and then session 4, 2 weeks after this, and session 5 before the end of June.
So it's, as you all know, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, but the goal, again, is to improve the functioning of the board, which will improve the functioning of the district and our students. So thank you for your commitment in doing that. And last but not least, myself, President Oriano, and Clerk Troutman had an opportunity to go to CSBA, so California School Board Association's Coast to Coast. So if you can, that first picture, if you can go to that first one, yeah, perfect. And so I showed you this picture because this is Congressman Raul Ruiz. Some of you guys have heard him speak. He's really involved in the community. And I'm just going to say this, and you please comment. So we spent 5 days, 4 days, 4 or 5 days together, and it was work every single day. There was training, there was learning, there was work. And so again, being on East Coast time, it was a whirlwind, but there was a lot of value that was done. So I want to tell you just some things that we talked about. But going back to this picture. So I had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C., and look at the political process, advocate, but I also had the opportunity to do that at the state level. So when you go in and meet with a councilman, a senator, House representative person, most of the time you're not meeting with them. You're not meeting with them because they're busy. They may not be there, they may be in meetings, you name it. So when we got there, we were told that Councilman Ruiz was gonna have to step out, so we may see him. And I remember Ms. Troutman was like, oh, we better see him. Like, she was like, really wanted to see him, because she wanted him to hear what we were, trying to advocate for. And so he actually kind of popped out from a meeting, he kind of said hi, and he said, I'll be back. And I said to myself, yeah, right, he's not coming back. Well, interestingly enough, I don't care what you think about this gentleman's politics, I'm going to say about his work ethic. He left, he said hi, he went into chambers to testify on a hearing that was occurring. We saw that on a TV and camera, and he's not coming back. Well, lo and behold, we have this conversation with the larger group, and he comes back. He not only comes back, he sets aside time, I don't know, it's over 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and just met with the entire team. If you can go to the next slide. So this was the entire team. These are people from our area, Palm Springs, Paris, El Centro, and so he sat with us for hours. Everyone got out what they needed. He also suggested how you can advocate more. So after he did that, he says, I gotta go. And then he left and went back into a session in hearing that we were able to see. And I'm sharing that with you because sometimes we don't know what people go through. Sometimes we don't know what their work ethic is. But this gentleman, regardless of what you think about his politics, was there to support school districts in our community. And I'm just honored to have that, be a part of that. We were able to do so much in such a short amount of time. It was an outstanding experience.
It was
I was just gonna say, it was extremely busy. We did not have a lot of downtime. It was go from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9, 10 o'clock. It was, it was an adventure, but I'd gladly do it again. I obviously give an opportunity to other board members. I feel like they should experience that as well. And I really feel like we got our point across to Congressman Ruiz. I'm very proud of Myra and, excuse me. Sorry, I'm very proud of us. You know, we got to advocate. We made our statement. We got our point across, and I really feel positive about us advocating to him and letting him know where we stand, what we need. And I really need to take it to heart, and I'm hoping to see results as soon as possible, but I'm told that's not going to be for quite a while, like after our term is over, but I'm hopeful that something will happen, something positive. So that's that.
And it was an incredible experience, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. We spent a lot of time together, and we bonded and learned about each other. Mr. Davis is very sociable and knows a lot of people and networks a lot, but he also said that we can do it as well.
Yes.
So that was a good thing, because it's always good to network and learn from other districts and what they're going through and what their challenges are, and comparing what would be best. And so it was a great experience. We were super busy. We walked a ton, and we really were out of our comfort zone to be able to get a tour. What was that thing called?
The rotunda, the nation's capital.
We didn't have tickets for that, but I recognized one of the staff members from a prior event, and I literally just went up to him like, "Hey, you remember me? Can we do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, let me go get tickets." And he took us up right before we went over to Congress's office. And the three of us had to figure out if we go through a special hallway that needs staff to take you, or else we're gonna go all around outside and across the street. It was an adventure, but it was really great to be out of our comfort zone and see the willingness that we have to be able to get answers to get us where we want to be. And I really do hope that the rest of the board members do have an opportunity to experience that. It was wonderful. All right, item 11.1, board member comments. Who would like to go first?
So I had the opportunity to attend band night and orchestra night, and I was completely impressed with some of our students and their ability and skills. It was very exciting to hear how a lot of the kids are just starting out, so they're only going to get better. I also attended open house at Nicolette, which was fun because I saw a lot of students involved in what was going on with activities and different things. I'm really excited and looking forward to the end of the year activities. It's a little bittersweet for me. And I want to thank all of you for hanging there with us tonight, and thank all of the teachers and staff for all the hard work that you do. Thank you.
All right, I was also happy opportunity to attend several events that we had throughout the district. I can't recall all the names, but we've all been so busy trying to be there to support our staff and our students. Our students are amazing, and I'm so grateful for our staff, our certificated and our classified, and I know it's Appreciation Week. I think it was this month. I can't recall, everything blurs right now, but I'm really grateful for you guys and for the heart that you have for our students. Our students are really excited at the events that I've seen. They're excited to finish up the school year and be free for the summer and go on to their next adventures. And I think they're very happy that testing is almost done as well, so that's a good thing. I also want to reiterate that I am here and available to our community members, our staff members. I appreciate the courage it took to express their concerns. This should be a safe space to express what's on your mind and on your heart. It's really important to me to hear that, to then ask follow-up questions and see how we can help to be a better district, to serve our students in our community. And The sentiment goes out to our board members as well. I'm here, you can text me or call me. I'll get back to you, even if it's really late or in between just working and being a mom and everything. But I'm here and I'm willing to be able to help whenever possible. And I look forward to our graduation and I hope that everyone has a good rest of their night.
This has been the first year and it's been a whirlwind for me. It's such a privilege to serve on the board of this amazing school district. I've been here for 7 years and as a teacher, you hear so many different things. And going to schools this year and getting my feet wet, learning about the district, I can't see where we are and really the hearts and minds and the love of this community is the same. And I'm very happy to be here and serve this. It's been very eye-opening to me, but please be patient with me. I really, truly care about each and every position and every student. And like I said, it's been just a little bit of a whirlwind for me. So I do care about our teachers, about our classified staff, about administration, about making sure that we're fiscally responsible and we're moving ahead in a positive direction. And all the people that work so hard, and you work so hard, all of you work so hard. And I want to thank you for the opportunity.
All right, it has been a busy last month into the school year. I sat in on training Thursday and Friday of last week for about 4 hours each day, and on Saturday for about 8 hours. I had my 4th grade nephew home with me and my 2nd grade girl, and then my 3-year-old girl. I had to praise my students because I had forgotten what it was like to sit there in front of a teacher for 8 hours seriously. I was sitting there like a little kid. When is it break time? When is it lunchtime? Like, when does the teacher realize that we're tired of seeing you? We have to stretch. And I just gotta praise these instructors and these babies for showing up, just for showing up. Not to mention all their hard work and everything they put into this. I got to walk through our high school and I got to see a lot of artwork that our very talented high schoolers have put up in their classrooms and across our campus. I got to hear about our programs that are coming up that we are taking off of the ground like Garfield College. I am very excited for all these babies to get that resource and opportunity. I'm excited for our teachers that are motivated and are going to go apply to become professors. They will be professors, they will be certified, but they will be teaching our high school students. So these will have college professors teaching them in the future, God willing. And I'm very excited for them because as an alumni from here, I didn't get those type of opportunities. I have amazing teachers and amazing staff, but I didn't have those kinds of resources. So being able to advocate for them and bring them these resources is amazing and it feels great. I hope all of them take advantage of it because they can only go further and advance in their careers and whatever they want to do, knock out a few courses while they're here in high school and not have to pay for them because the district will take on that tuition for them. I want to say thank you to Ms. Cromos who invited me to the prom. I wasn't able to go because I was sitting in class, but I felt so honored and special because she invited me. I want to shout out our girls varsity team softball. They made it to the first round of CIS and did very well. Our boys, like everyone mentioned, those are freshmen and sophomores. Can't wait to see what they're going to do in the next 3 years coming up, guys. Can't wait to see our sports program turn around and be what it should be for these babies, to have all the opportunities that they should have. And as always, I just want to thank everyone for their hard work. And like I said, just showing up is hard work. So everything you do after that for my students and for my staff, I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
So I'd like to start by congratulating again Margarita Ramirez to her new position as software principal. Welcome. I also like to congratulate our students that are graduating this year. It's a huge milestone in their life, and you did it. You should be very proud of yourselves, and we're all extremely proud of you. And we're excited for graduation. This is by far the happiest time of year where we get to see so many kids walk that stage and all the smiling, and it's amazing. It's a wonderful feeling seeing all those smiling faces. And I can't wait. And I thank all the staff for being here as late as you do. I want to thank CSEA for coming forward, voicing your concerns, that it takes courage, and I commend all of you for that. And I hope everyone has a great night and be safe.
Thank you. Item 12.1, future board items. Anyone else?
Yes, yes. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to have another presentation this evening. Yes, we will have this presentation prepared for the next board meeting. And that will cover some updates of our plans for discipline committee, as well as our suggestions for moving forward, and some of the additional programs we'll be able to implement.
Discipline across the district or for like specific sites?
Student discipline in general.
Are we covering all sites though, for all our students, or are we like gonna focus in on middle school, high school?
No, it will cover elementary, middle, and high school.
Awesome, thank you.
I just want to have one question. Are we to put technology back the discussion or? No, not this is just all technology. And yeah, and then security as well. Are we gonna?
Yeah, you can provide us information in your presentation.
I'd actually like to, Mr. Schiller, if you wouldn't mind, at the next board meeting, you could do a presentation on where we're at, you know, with our meetings and what we're planning on doing, and things like that, just so the community can hear how we're improving and what we plan on doing to improve safety at all sites. I would appreciate that.
Okay, so we're gonna return back to closed session since we weren't able to finish the remainder of the items.
2 through 2.4.
2.2, 3,
2.4.
2.4. So thank you for hanging in there, and I do apologize that we didn't log in early, but we hope to do better.